This is Robert here. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. And thanks for watching.
Hey guys, this is Robert and Evan here. We got our certifications. We had it now for about what, 2 weeks? 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. And we're just gonna share the story with you guys of what it was all like and what all we went through. Starting from the beginning. I'll let you lead it off. However you want to start it. Yeah, from the beginning.
Alright. First we decided we was gonna do the certification from the beginning. And it took us about a year to
Yeah,
do the
a full year to get this thing. We met each other, and then I started asking you about it. You were like, "Yeah, I'm down with that."
Yep.
So yeah, it took us a full over a year.
Over a year.
2 years.
It's been 2022. What's it? 24.
Cause I didn't meet you last year. I met you the year before that.
It was that fall. That's
Okay, I met you July.
That's right. July.
At July of 2022.
2022.
2022. And that's kind of, okay, let's say we started talking about it around December or something.
Right.
Almost 2.5 years, almost a year and a half.
Almost a year and a half.
Wow. Wow. And for two reasons, because it was kind of expensive, number one.
And I was gone.
And he left for 6 months.
Yep.
And so when he came back, we said we were going to make it a priority and get it done. So,
In January.
in January. And then we didn't get it done in February. And then we didn't get it done in March. And he started putting that pressure on me to get it done.
So that's the beginning.
That's the beginning.
So then we started going around finding places.
Yep.
And we went to a few places. We went to about 4 places, 3 or 4 places.
Yeah, we went to 3 or 4 places. One of them was closing out of business.
Right. And come to find out, the first place we went to was the best one, and that's the one we stuck with.
It is funny too, because when we went to that first place, which was a place you had found and told me about, I fell in love with it from the beginning. But you said, no, we need to look around. Check the price, which is a good thing, because I done had so many things where I fell in love with stuff on the first time, and it ended up being a bad decision. I should have looked. So I'm glad we looked.
Yeah.
But this place was close to the house. Diving Yucatan?
Yeah.
Or Yucatan diving?
Diving Yucatan.
Diving Yucatan. Yeah. Found a English-speaking guy there that spoke real good English. And he spoke about another 2 or 3 more languages. But he spoke real good English. And
it was all the same price, or roughly the same price.
yeah, roughly the same price, but this one was a little bit cheaper.
This one was cheaper.
Yeah. So from there, what's up? What happened next? Once we signed up with that place.
We signed up with them. We went on a dive, like an exploratory dive.
Exploratory dive, yep.
And
just to see if we really, really wanted to do it.
yeah.
And that's the first dive we went on.
That's when we knew we wanted to do it.
That's when we knew we wanted to do it. We went down 30 feet.
30 feet.
At that point in time. And that's the first video that I showed you guys.
Yeah.
We couldn't believe that we went 30 feet and everything was fun.
It was.
Yeah. And then that second day came. Oh my goodness. That's when they put us through the classroom and all that work in the swimming pool we had to do and stay underwater. And talk about that part. That was the fun part right there, boy. That right there. Woo.
We had the classroom part. Well, first we did part at home. It was like a home.
Yeah,
study.
you gotta do a video part. Yep.
And we did that. You gotta finish the course, take the test, pass the test. Then
Yeah.
from there you go and you do the classroom. He kind of goes over everything, and he goes over a few extra things.
Yeah.
And then we go into the pool.
Then you get into the pool. But hold on, when we were doing those video things, okay, I think I done one by myself, and then we done 3 together.
Something like that.
One of them was 51 minutes long. Golly. That was like a sleeping pill. we had to take breaks in the middle of it. Woo, that was a long 51 minutes. But anyway, we got through it, passed it. Then we went back to the place.
Yep. Then we went back. That was a classroom.
Yep, that was a classroom.
Went over it. We went over some other things. Then he went and then we went and got into the pool. Put on the full scuba gear.
Put on the full scuba gear, that hot full suit, like a sweatsuit.
Yeah.
Put on the tank.
Neoprene, like skin tight.
Yeah, skin tight. It's hard to put on. It's like you're peeling off your own skin almost. Yeah.
Did that, got into the pool.
Yep.
Had to do some drills.
Yep.
And I mean, it was our first time, so it wasn't great.
No, it wasn't super great. But what was the scariest part?
In the pool?
Period. So I mean, just from where we are at this point right here, what was scary about it?
But the whole thing.
Okay, not the last dive where we had to really know it.
Okay.
But just from the video to the discovery dive and to this pool thing.
Nothing was really scary. I don't remember it being scary. I was having a good time with it.
Yeah.
The only thing that was, I'm trying to think of what would have been scary was when I kept falling forward. Remember that?
Yeah, you kept falling forward. Yeah.
I had to take the tank off and then put it back on, but I lost my balance underwater. And in water, you know, in the pool, there's nothing to stop you. So you just keep falling and falling and falling all the way till you get to the end of the pool.
Yeah. And there's no brakes in the pool. You got to remember that. You know, like an airplane don't have air brakes. Well, guess what? You don't have water brakes either.
Nothing. And the instructor just stood there. I mean, he was in the water too, just like watching, like, look at this guy.
Yeah. And Evan went first when we would do. Here the thing is, okay, let me just give y'all some of these drills. Okay, one of them was we had to take our mask off.
Take the goggles.
The gargle thing that's over your eyes.
Yeah.
And then put it back on and then clear the water out of it, all underwater. Okay? How was that?
That part was easy.
Okay.
The one that I thought was going to be scary was the when you had to breathe out of the half of the mouthpiece.
Ooh.
I was nervous. Like,
Now-
I'm gonna fail this part.
We was only in a pool when we were doing that, so it was only about 4 or 5 feet deep.
Right.
So you didn't have to be really worried because you could come right up. But you didn't want to come right up because you want to pass this test.
Right.
So we had to take off our. We doing all this underwater, guys, and we underwater probably about an hour.
Full scuba gear. Yeah.
Full scuba gear. We had to take off. Did we take off our full scuba gear at that point?
No.
Okay. We just had to take off our mouthpiece.
Right.
Take off your mouthpiece, which is how you're breathing. But you have it in your mouth, like a mouthpiece,
Like a mouthpiece from football.
from football or something, or some kind of sports, boxing or something. Yeah. You have to take that out of your mouth, and at the same time, still keep blowing air out. You're not supposed to hold your breath. You're supposed to blow air out. Now, when I say you're not supposed to hold your breath, it don't mean you're not supposed to breathe. Wait a minute, hold on. When you think about not supposed to hold your breath, you're thinking you're supposed to breathe. But you're not supposed to breathe. You're just not supposed to inhale. You're still supposed to let air out. A little bit at a time, because if you just let it all out, your stomach will be empty. I mean, your lungs will be empty. So we had to breathe out a little bit until we put this mouthpiece, not in our mouth, halfway in our mouth.
Halfway.
Oh.
Your mouth is open, you're sideways, you have this thing sticking halfway out your mouth, and you have to, the way it worked, okay, it sounded, and when he explained it to us, it seemed a lot more scarier than it actually was. But the air pressure was coming into the mouthpiece so fast that it cleared all the air out your mouth anyway.
Yeah.
So even though your mouth was open underwater, the air was constantly.
It blew the water out.
Yeah.
It blew the water out of your mouth
Exactly.
anyway.
Exactly what it
Which is, when he explained it to us, because you don't have a mouthpiece in your mouth, you have it halfway in your mouth. You know, like, what's the basketball player that's always biting on his mouthpiece? Steph Curry. Steph Curry is always biting on half of his mouthpiece. Well, this is what we were doing. We were biting on half of that U. It's shaped like a U. We was biting on half of it,
The other piece was out.
and the other piece is out of your mouth. and it feels like you're gonna breathe in air. I'm sorry, like you're gonna breathe in water. So it's scary looking at it. But when you do it, it's easy. Water, air goes straight through, and you breathing like normal. And you have to turn your head sideways a little bit. And why do you do that?
I have no idea. I was thinking that
I don't
too.
either. I don't know why you do that.
What was the point of that drill? I don't know.
I guess you're making it so the air will be easy to go up, the bubbles or something. I don't know. But you turn your head sideways, and it's easy to breathe. No problem at all. Not like we thought it would be. That was one of the scary things as far as
Up to that point.
hearing about it. It wasn't scary doing it. It was scary hearing about it. Yeah. But we got through that part, which was cool. Here's something that would be afraid for a lot of people. We told you we had to take the eyepiece off in your nose. But you also had to just let it fill up with water and then clear it out underwater. And the way you clear it out is by either cracking it open just a little bit, tilting your head back, and just blowing air through your nose, and it'll blow out all the water. I take that back. It don't blow out all the water. It blow out 95% of the water, and just a little bit of water just tickles the edge of your nose. So you feel like you're gonna inhale that water, but you're not, because you're breathing through your mouth. So if you want to scuba dive, and we ain't at the end because we got some more stuff to tell you that gets rough, but the number one thing for me that you have to be comfortable with is breathing underwater, right?
Yeah. Breathing through your mouth. No matter what, you get nervous, especially if you're down in the water like I was, and I got nervous. And I mean, we had an instructor. He came over and helped me out. But if you're down there just swimming, you got to remember, keep the mouthpiece in and breathe through your mouth.
And breathe through your mouth. And don't panic and try to swim up to the top,
Right.
because a lot of times you're going to be too far down and you can't go up that fast.
Right.
You're supposed to do like a foot a second, which is hard to do, by the way. So you better want to do it. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
Because there was a guy that went with us on the Discovery dive who could outswim probably both of us.
Yes. At
But
the top of the water.
At the top of the water. But that joker was nervous underwater breathing.
Yeah. He didn't make it through the first day.
He didn't even make it through the Discovery dive. He did part of that and he said, okay, I can't do it. I'm done. And one thing that we done in the beginning with each other is we made it so that we wouldn't have no pressure on each other. We said, hey, if you can't make it, don't put pressure on yourself trying to keep up with the next guy. Only do you. So I guess that's what he done. And I said that, but the pressure was still on because I was trying not to let this guy down. Because there was one time we were doing an exercise and I wanted to come up. Then I said, okay, I can't come up. Evan didn't go up. He did it. I got to do it.
That's when I fell into the pool.
Yeah. That's when you were falling forward. That's exactly when you were falling forward.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Never came up.
I said, wow, if he can get through that. And keep in mind, guys, I can't swim.
Right.
So, they jumping in the water, and then they got, here's another one that was scary for me as a swimmer, as a guy that can't swim. You jump in the water, and then you have to put on your scuba gear, your scuba tank and stuff once you get in the water. So that means you got to stay in the water. The kids can play good soccer. Now you got to stay in the water floating long enough until you get that thing on. And that thing wants to float, and it keeps wanting to go sideways. You got to learn how to put that thing on. And the first day, that was hard. After a couple of days, I got better at it, But, man.
I didn't get good at that until the last day.
Yeah, exactly. Me too.
That's what
Me
they
too.
told me.
And I can't even say then I was good at it. So we done all this pool exercises. He took us through a lot of them. We had to hover in the pool at the bottom without touching the top, without touching the bottom. Had to stay under. Had to, here's one. They had to do what they call, if you run out of oxygen. Remember, The last resort is to shoot up to the top. Okay. So if you run out of oxygen, oh, another thing is you have to stay with your buddy. Okay. They say within 2 seconds of each other. So 1001, 1002, you need to be able to get to your buddy. Basically, y'all need to stay side by side.
Underwater, that 2 seconds is not very far.
No.
He could be right next to you. 2 seconds is going to take you that time to get over there.
That's right. If you 2 steps away, that may not be 2 seconds. That may be 4 seconds or 5. Because again, there's no brakes. Okay? You can't just decide to stop and then you stop. You still moving around. So anyway, we went through all these exercises underwater. When we got done with all these different exercises, taking off your gear, putting on your gear, taking off your mask, putting on your mask, clearing your mask with water, playing like you run out of oxygen, and then your buddy got to rescue you with his, what is it, a rescue thing or some kind of extra breathing device?
An extra mouthpiece that's hooked to the octopus.
Yeah, an extra breathing device that's hooked to your octopus, which is your breathing tank or whatever. And you got to be able to,
your tank.
And it hooks onto your tank, and you got to be able to give that to your buddy, and to have him breathe. Let me just say one thing: you cannot be worried about your mouth touching something that the other person's mouth touched, or anything like that, because it happens.
It happens.
And you in all this water, whether it's ocean water or lake water or whatever kind of water.
You're in a lot of water.
You're in a lot of water. And you know it ain't like your drinking water. Okay, so you just can't worry about it. And you're gonna drink a lot of water. God, I drank so much salt water when we went to the ocean. And guess what else? Your nose oh, go ahead.
But it's a certain way that you have to do everything. That's part of the drill. And also, it's a separate mouthpiece. So you're breathing in yours. You have to like pull yours out of the pocket and wind it up a certain way and hand it to them a certain way. And while you're doing all of this, that person's not breathing.
Yes.
They're breathing out really slow. And the instructor's sitting there watching you, so you can't stop breathing. You stop.
While you're doing all of that, he can't breathe. Woo! And you're trying to keep exhaling, and keep in mind, you can only hold so much air in your lungs. And hold on, when you get it, this is the trip part. You got to clear that water out of the tube.
Right.
There's 2 ways you can do that. You can blow, or you can just purge it. It's a little valve button where you can purge it. Well, I got so used to blowing till I forgot about purging. So when he put it onto me, I sucked in a lot of water, okay, trying to breathe. And then I gathered up, I don't know how I did it, but I gathered up enough to and pushed the rest of that water out and started breathing. How did it go for you on that?
Mine was okay. Okay.
I
I thought you were gonna tell them about how long it took me to take the thing out.
You tell him. You tell him.
So he's out of breath. Out of air. He gave me the signal. Oh, there's also hand signals for everything.
Hand signals for everything. It's another language underwater.
Yeah. So he's giving me the signal. He's out of breath. I'm out of oxygen. So I come over and I get everything and I'm ready to start winding up. He takes his mouthpiece out. So now he's sitting there letting the bubbles out. Boom, boom, boom. He can't stop letting the bubbles out. And the thing got stuck. So I'm sitting there pulling at the thing because it's in a pocket right here. I'm pulling at it. And he's sitting there trying to like wait for me. He's like reaching out. After a while, he starts reaching out. I'm like, okay. Finally, I get it. Wrap it the way it's got to be wrapped and hand it to him.
Give me that thing.
That's when he said he had no air. He had no air left.
And when you constantly letting out air, it's hard. Oh, keep in mind, you're not even supposed to hold your breath. But it's hard to hold your breath even if you constantly letting out air. You out of air?
Out of air.
But he finally got it to me, and I shoved that thing in my mouth and got a little bit extra and pushed out something and started breathing. Man, I was glad to get that oxygen. Now, when we done this the first time, we was in a pool. So Worst case scenario, you swim to the top.
Now
But-
you stand up.
Yeah, you
In the
just
pool.
stand up in the pool. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, you don't even have to swim up to the top. You just stand up. But we try not to do that because number one, we don't want to start the drills over,
Right.
and number two, we want to pass.
Right. Right.
So when we got done with all that, we had to float for 10 minutes. Oh my goodness. Stay on top of the water for 10 minutes. Dude, I'm not a swimmer. That probably was the hardest part for me right there. I could not, second hardest. I did it though. I couldn't believe 10 minutes went that fast. I made it. I had to keep kicking and moving my arms and kicking and moving my arm, but I made it. I kept going around in circles on that pool. But we got through it. And when we got done, oh my God. That was tired like I ain't never seen tired before.
Yeah. So go home and go to sleep.
Oh man, we were so whooped. And then we were hungry. And everywhere we went were closed. And it wasn't even late.
No,
it was
it
either
wasn't.
closed because it was too early for them to open. Right, I guess, because it wasn't late.
It wasn't. It was that middle time.
Yeah, things
One
around
place
here.
was closed and the late one.
Yeah.
open yet.
They open for dinner, and they usually open for dinner around 6 or 6:30. It may have been 5:30 for us, and so it took us a while to find a place to eat. But you talking about exhausted? I mean, it's like you've been running up and down a basketball court, but you're not sweating because you're in the water, so you don't feel like you should be. You're not hot. You're just tired.
Just tired.
Oh my goodness, dude. We were tired. We were whooped. Okay, and that was all day because half the day was in the classroom, the other half the day was in the pool. So we got through that, and then the next thing we had to do was go out and do our what we call the last day. We thought the last day to go do our dive. Hit it, Evan.
So we went to the cenote. We met up like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
Went to cenote. It was about an hour away. We go through this little small town, and we picked up these people that they were like what they call them? Not our guys, but
They
kind
wouldn't
of-
call them mules. They call them something else. They were the helpers. I just
They
say
were the
helpers.
helpers.
Yeah.
They're the people that they take the tanks and stuff down to the cenote. 'Cause
Yeah.
when you get there, you're like up at the top.
And the
You
cenote,
got to go down steps
yeah,
to get down to
the
it.
actual water is probably about a good 30 feet down.
Yeah.
And you got to go down these wiggly, shaky ladders that look like it's only made for kids, not adults. Okay, not 200 plus pounds, but
Some of the beams in the ladder were tied on with rope, and the rope was all like knotted up and breaking.
yeah, yeah, rotten.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's how bad it was.
That it was bad.
So we went and did that. What was I saying? Oh, when we went to the cenote, we went
Yeah.
and picked them up. They went with us. We went to the cenote, and it was 4 of us. It was
Yeah,
the
4
one
of
guy
us.
from Mexico City, the other one from Spain.
Let's see, a guy from Mexico City. Oh yeah, a guy from Spain, the movie star.
Yeah.
No, that's not that day. That was the first time. That was
No,
Discovery
that was
Dive.
Discovery Dive. You're
Who
right.
went with us the second time? Was it anybody else?
It was always somebody. It was
It sure
what's
was.
the name was
It was only 3 of us though.
the one whose name
It was a guy from Mexico City.
Mexico City.
Yeah, he worked with the U.S. Embassy,
Yeah.
I think, something like
Something
that.
like that.
Yeah. Anyway, he went with us because he was doing his Discovery Dive.
Right.
Yeah.
It was 3 of us.
It was 3 of
4
us.
of us in the car with the instructor.
Yeah.
So we went there. We went. We stopped at the place. They also make food there, so we put our food order in.
Yeah.
And then we went with other people. We all went to the cenote, did our dives. I didn't think we did too bad.
The dives we had to do was the same stuff we did in the pool, right?
There was another person with us.
It was
one
a
that came
Mexican
with-
guy.
No, but the other guy that came with us that said we did good.
Sure was. It was 4 of us. You're right. It was another guy that was just going out on a dive.
Right. He was already certified.
He was already certified. Been certified for 30-some years, but only had like 50 dives.
Yeah.
That's a little over a dive a year. Not much.
Not much.
No, because that means he wasn't diving every year. Because we done already done 6 dives. Yeah,
Already.
already.
Just to be certified.
Just to get certified. So if he only got 50 in 30 years, he done missed a lot of years of not diving. But anyway, it was 4 of us. Go ahead.
So, went to the cenote. I thought we did alright.
I thought we did fairly okay.
Okay. We ain't look like no stars.
Far
At
from
all.
it. We didn't look like no veterans.
No veterans. But everything that he told us to do, we did.
Yes, somewhat.
Somewhat. We did some variation.
Yeah, some variation of it. Yeah.
And we did that on the way back. You want to tell it?
On the way back, he told us to grade ourselves. And he telling us that, he never failed nobody and all this kind of stuff. So I'm not gonna fail myself. So I said, I think we did, fairly okay. I'm gonna give myself a C. And and then who went first, me or you? I went first. Yeah, I gave myself a C. Told him I need to make some improvements, but I kept it short. I didn't go into details on it, right? I just kept it short. And then Evan said some stuff about what all he went through. Go ahead.
I kept it short too. I didn't give myself a grade though.
You didn't give yourself a grade. You sure did.
I was like, I could have done better with this and that, but I did, we did what was asked of us.
Yeah. And he did better than me, by the way.
And for somebody that I could swim, that's
Yeah.
a big difference. But for somebody that's going down on the first couple of dives, I thought we did all right. And that's
Me
what I
too.
told him. I said,
Yeah.
At this stage of the game, I think we did okay for where we are.
And the guy that went with us that was a diver, he even told us that we did pretty good.
Yeah.
So, that kind of gave us a little bit of a feel good about ourselves kind of thing.
Yeah. And then drum roll.
Yeah. And then the instructor, he gave us what he thought we done. The first words out of his mouth, I think you was a little kind on what you gave yourself as a grade. I was like, uh-oh. I knew I was in trouble from that point on.
He came out swinging.
Yeah. Man. And I thought he was gonna give us a tongue lashing kind of thing, but still pass us. That sucker failed us. I couldn't believe that, man. That joker failed us.
So to put it in perspective, he's so many people in so many countries over so many years and never failed nobody.
Never failed nobody.
So what he was saying was we are the worst people that he ever came
That
across.
he ever had, ever. In 5 years of being an instructor, we were the worst people that he ever.
In
He
any
said
country that he went to, that
he was from France, okay?
Right.
And he said he had one guy that he should have failed, but he didn't. And I'm thinking, make it 3 then. So that sucker failed us, man. And we had a good attitude about it in the car.
I was about to say.
But when we got out of that car, we were pissed. This dude was ready to throw down.
I was tight. Like what?
Like, I can't believe this. Yeah, man. Hey,
So you saying we the worst that you ever
we the worst that you ever seen in your whole life?
Boy,
Man, when we got to thinking about that, boy, that made us even more mad. I'm like, come on, man. You trying to tell me out of all the people you done trained, we the absolute worst? I'm probably the first guy that couldn't swim. I'd probably give him that. But again, he probably failed Evan because of me. Because I couldn't hover for maybe 30 seconds. But still, I thought we was pretty good. At least okay.
good enough to pass.
Good enough to pass.
Good enough to that even if we had to come back, which we wanted to do anyway.
Which we wanted to do anyway. But he made sure we did.
Yeah.
So we got past that.
Still kind of sore about that one.
Yeah, still a little mad about that a little bit. But the good news is when he failed us, we had to pay again. That's not the good news. That's the bad news. We had to pay again. But
Kind of.
they only charged us for the equipment and getting into the cenote. They didn't charge us no fee for the class or nothing.
Right. No instructor.
No instructor fees or nothing. So at least that was good. But by the time we paid all that, though, this thing cost us 1,100 and something pesos.
Yes.
Yeah. Which even if you go 21, so 20 to 1, that's $500, $600. So it was expensive, you know. But would I do it again right now? Yeah. I'd do it again, even if I knew I was gonna fail. Because I wanted it. But I'm gonna tell you though, I was pretty upset about failing. So we scheduled a second time to come back. Okay? And
A couple days later.
but before we done that, we got together again. We sit and watched the videos and went over the stuff and tried to get ourselves a little bit more prepared. I tried to practice a little bit in my pool. I don't know how, I couldn't really do nothing, but you know, I was trying. And we went back, and I was nervous because I'm like, I don't want to fail this thing again, man. So, and he kept telling us stuff like, oh, I got confidence in you. I think you're going to do great. But he said that the first time.
Yes, he did.
So, and then after we dived, he told us all these different exercises we were going to do. I didn't know he was going to put us through every single exercise, plus some we didn't get a chance to do again.
Yeah. We had to repeat some of the stuff that we already passed on, stuff that he already said, you did good with this. Now we had to do it again.
Yeah, had to do it again. Ugh.
And nothing changed. It's not like it didn't even get much better or worse. We just did it again.
We just did it again.
So,
Which
we passed
sucked.
that the first time.
And then he added a couple more new things that we didn't get a chance to do. So, I mean, we read about it and he talked about it, but we ran out of oxygen and couldn't do it. So, I was nervous, man. And I'm thinking now, looking back at it, that's part of the reason why I probably ran out of oxygen so fast.
Nervous,
Yeah, nervous. Because I ran out of oxygen before him and the other lady that went with us did. And so I'm down there, we doing exercises. In order to keep from going up, I have to share the instructor's real life situation. I wasn't out of oxygen, but I was very low. So in order to keep me from running out, he let me use his to be able to stay on the water and still continue with some of the exercises that we had to do. But it's funny, for a guy that couldn't swim, this is the part that I'm proud of myself about. For a guy that couldn't swim, to be able to do all that underwater, I didn't tell you this part. And when we doing all this underwater, we were 63 feet underwater.
I'm about to say, you going to the last day?
Yeah, the last day. We were 63 feet.
Yeah.
The first dive we done, the Discovery dive, we went 30 feet. This time, we had the dive computers on our wrist and the compass and all this kind of stuff. So, and we had to keep up with that stuff ourselves. So I looked at my dive thing and I noticed that I was down 63 feet, which to me, 19 meters. That in itself is something. How you feel about being down 60 feet underwater?
I was having a good time. You know what? I said, whether we pass or fail, I was going to enjoy it. So I was looking at the stuff, the whatever those things. Like, as you're swimming around, he's pointing out things to you that are down there, like
fossils
and bones and this
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. So I'm looking at stuff and I'm enjoying it for what it is, because I didn't
Never
know
know.
what the result was going to be, because I was surprised once already.
This is stuff that we knew we wasn't gonna see when you just go to a cenote.
Right.
Cause we looking at a cave that's 60 feet out underwater, and we swimming around. I mean, we're swimming around 60 something feet underwater.
60-something feet underwater.
Try to imagine that, guy, 60-something feet underwater. The best example I can give you that is, if you go to a building, a high rise, go to the 6th floor and look out the window. That's how far down we was underwater. And hold on, it gets worse than that. We wasn't touching the bottom. It was more. It was probably another 60 feet we could have went down.
Yeah. Because the way it's built, it goes down and there's like a kind of like a mountain or something underneath. So this is the ground, and then it goes down like a mountain. And as you keep going to the sides, it just keeps getting deeper and deeper.
Yeah. I think he said that cenote was like 200-something feet.
All the way to the bottom.
All the way to the bottom. So we was a long way from the bottom of the cenote. And this is not the ocean. This is just a cenote.
Right.
Okay? So it's a trip. And I'm going to tell you about this cenote, guys. It's way out in the boonies. Okay? Way out in the boonies. If you have an emergency, it's over. They ain't getting you. It ain't no. Okay, not only is it way out in the boonies, the road to actually get to the cenote, I'm gonna say it's at least 3 miles. It's 3 miles of driving probably like 10 miles an hour, because it's the roughest road you ever seen in your life.
Dirt road.
Dirt road with big rocks, and you need a truck.
You need a, yeah.
Whew, it's something. But go ahead.
I was gonna say this. There's people that were, there was one person that was jumping off the top of the cenote down into the water.
Oh my goodness.
That had to be a good 30, 40 feet itself.
Yes.
And he's jumping from outside, because it's like a little hole up here, and it just opens up into a big cavern.
Yeah.
And then the cenote, the water's down at the bottom.
Yes.
He's jumping from outside where the trees and stuff are up on the surface, through the hole, down into the water.
Down into the water. It's a long fall. Okay.
And
Whew.
said
And he done it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And so I asked my instructor what he do, and he like, no. I done seen somebody hurt their back doing that. He said, I don't do that. I like going home.
He brought up that rod. He said, imagine, having a broke vertebra or something like that?
Something like that.
Something broken, and having to ride out on that dirt road for all that distance, bouncing around
with a sore back. Oh my goodness. And I don't know if you guys have witnessed this, but even if you in just like on the street and you got a sore back and you in a car and it's a rough riding car, a rough riding truck, and you hit a bump, that hurts.
Yeah.
Well, this was that times 100 because of a messed up vertebrae.
Yeah.
And it ain't because she hit a rock or nothing like that. I think it's because she landed on her back or something.
Yeah, she landed messed up. She landed wrong on the water.
Yeah, landed wrong on the water. So you got to go in right. That water is hard when you 30-something. We don't even know if 30-something feet. It could have been more, but it was taller than this.
Yeah.
Taller than this building is in here. Yeah, it was taller than this one.
He was on top of it.
Yeah.
So he was like further, because it goes up like this in the top when you're outside.
That's right. You're right. It kind of angles up a little bit. But so when we got back in the car, he asked us to assess the dive. And the lady that went with us, she went first, and she was very detailed. So after she got done, he congratulated her and saying that she passed. So I said, okay, I'm gonna do what she done. So I went into details. I started telling him how, I wasn't that great, but I saw a lot of improvement, and this area, it was this. I just broke it down into pieces. Then I told him things I was gonna do to improve it. Take swimming lessons and breathing classes and all kinds of stuff to show him that I'm gonna improve. I'm trying to pass.
He's selling them.
I'm trying to pass. And then Evan went.
I did the same thing. I heard what she said, all the detail. I heard what he said with all the detail, so I got into detail. And I was, whatever I could think of, I was saying, like, for everything that I saw happening, I made sure I touched on it, and that worked.
Yeah, it worked, and he He gave us a high five, congratulated us, and
Brought us
said
in.
we were open water certified divers.
Yes.
And then after it, we all had a nice cold beverage and celebrated back at the office. And it was a good day, man.
Yep.
We was really happy. Really happy. And open water certified divers, man. So after that, you saw a video where we went snorkeling down in Cozumel. And I'm gonna tell you something. As clear as that cenote water was, it don't have nothing on Cozumel water. That ocean water was clear. Drunk a lot of salt water though. A lot of salt water. But you know, I enjoyed it, man. But I like water. Part of the reason why we moved to Merida, to get close to the water.
Now you just got to learn how to swim.
Now I just gotta learn how to swim. For real swim. Not no floating on your back. And not just swimming in the ocean, because anybody can swim in the ocean.
Yeah. That's funny. It's a lot easier to swim in the ocean
Yeah.
than it is in the pool.
Yeah, in the ocean, you just float. You ain't got to worry about going under. It's harder to drown than it is unless you got waves coming. Yeah. But anyway, guys, we just wanted to share that with you. If you ever get a chance to go snorkeling, first of all, please do it, because you are missing out on so much when you just go to the beach and get in the water and don't get no snorkeling gear. Get the snorkeling gear and look at it what it's like underwater.
Yeah.
You agree?
If you get a chance, look up at the surface of the water from
Oh.
underneath.
Look up at the surface of the water from underneath. Ain't nothing like it.
Yeah. Gotta do it.
Gotta do it. And it's like the best description I can think of. If you ever had an aquarium and you have a lot of fish, or ever you go through an aquarium like at a big aquarium, and you see all these fish in the water, it's like you inside the aquarium. Not just on the outside looking through the glass. It's like you're in the aquarium. And it's crystal clear. And when we were snorkeling, I was swimming over a spool, a group, maybe 30 or 40 fish of barracudas. That was at least 18 inches long. Okay? And a whole bunch of other different type of fish we got to see. Got to see a turtle, and it was nice. But and coral reef, for the people that are interested in coral. But to me, the wildlife, or the underwater life, is what really turned me on. So if you ever get a chance to snorkel, and this is for people that are my color. A lady told me to put this out there, so I'm gonna do it. Diving is not just for other people. It's for us too. Get out there and dive. Try new things. You know, me and Evan, we're going to try everything. We plan on bungee jumping in the dark. Doing a zip line on a bicycle. Okay? And we coming up with more and more crazy things that we can do. But we have to take Robert with us, because he kind of keep us in line. Because we might kill ourselves if we don't. But anyway, guys, we just wanted to share that with you guys. Hope you get something out of it, enjoy it. And of course, the next time, let's see, what do I say? Peace out. That's it. And enjoy yourself, and also keep it slow. Holler at y'all later. Bye.